Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort in commentary, Ashton, and this is our NXT review. And holy mother of gotch, was this a go-home show. Absolutely phenomenal. And what was interesting about tonight's episode of NXT, not really much to say in terms of actual in-ring match quality, but whether it was like actual storyline segments or segments that would happen in a post-match context, really good story-driven content to bring this go-home show, really do the final push before NXT Takeover Brooklyn. I said that my amped up kind of meter was at that 8 to a 9. We're at a full-blown 10 now after this episode. I am eagerly anticipating this show, and I think that is a gross understatement. Partner, what'd you think of it?
Oh, this was a really fun show. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and honestly, it's not even like it's NXT, so it was great. No, this was a good NXT, a good episode of wrestling television, even by NXT standards.
I completely agree with you. And you know what, Ashton? I don't want to jump the gun, but I do just want to say it like this. For me, bro, the heels really shine tonight. I'm thinking of two in particular.
I'm guessing, can I try and take a guess and see who you're thinking of?
Sure.
Okay, Kevin Owens, obviously.
Yes.
And Alexa Bliss.
You know what? Make that 3 then, because I'd put Alexa Bliss on there, yeah, but there's one other that I thought really killed it tonight.
Yeah? Sasha.
They killed it tonight. Amazing job.
I think the only reason I said Alexa right away was because of recency bias, because she had her stuff before, or more recently than Sasha.
Yeah, I mean, the heels really showed up, and I can't wait to get more specific and really into the conversation about these segments. So do you have anything else you want to say?
No, let's just get right into our segment.
All right, first segment, heat of the night. And it is colder than Alaska, folks, because I ain't got a heat of the night tonight. I am fired up for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. What about you, Ashton?
Yeah, no, I don't have any full-on heats of the night. Just a nitpick. Why are you sticking Enzo and Cass with these jobbers?
I feel your pain, brother.
Is the entire purpose of this whole 8-man tag for Enzo, Cass, and Zack Ryder to turn into like a stereotypical Jersey Shore clique and single Mojo Rawley out as a loser?
I think what really bothers me about this is that Enzo and Cass are one of the bigger name tag teams in the division.
Yeah.
And it's NXT Takeover.
Oh, you know what, dude? It just clicked with me. This is Enzo and Cass trying to pass the torch before they get called up.
Maybe.
It is. I'm telling you, because they are getting called up. They're going to put the Hype Bros over on the mic as much as they can on the way, and hope that the Hype Bros can, pick up the baton and run with it. But it's Mojo Rawley, so that's not going to work.
Yeah, they're going to trip and fall on their faces and just, it's going
to. And then Mojo Rawley's going to do laps.
Right.
And it's not even going to be. It's not even going to be laps like in the actual part of the race that we're hypothetically talking about here. He's just going to just run around in the grass.
Yeah.
My favorite line from tonight was frickin' Corey Graves. Something tells me Mojo Rawley is the result of 2 cousins getting married.
Byron, that's not very nice. Oh, shut up, Byron. But, I guess you make a good enough point. I won't really contend that. I was just going to say that it's odd to me that you have a bigger name tag team in NXT. It's Brooklyn, and you've sold out 13,000 people, and they're stuck in an 8-man tag. I understand passing the torch and everything.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I was going to say Enzo and Cass are still technically not on the TakeOver Brooklyn card.
Oh, right. Well, it's next Wednesday, right, that it's going to be happening?
Yeah.
These matches. So yeah, it really kind of sucks. I still think they should have made the actual card, for the record.
Yeah.
I love the Vaudevillains to death, but I know what's good business and how you could. That's a complete misfire. But yeah, nothing more to really say about that. Do you want to get into our actual review?
Of course I do.
Then let us get into our NXT review as William Regal comes out and he is here to oversee a contract signing between the participants of the NXT Women's Championship match.
For the second time ever, I'll add.
For the second time ever, yes. NXT Takeover Brooklyn this Saturday. He first introduces Bayley, then he introduces Sasha Banks, who comes out with her trademark stab in hand. I love that she does that shit. And yeah, he gives the floor to Bayley first. Crowd very divided, by the way, guys. This is a very divisive crowd between Bayley and Sasha, in my estimation. I mean, would you agree with that, Ashton?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it seemed like there was a lot of support for Bayley, but the longer the segment went on, the more it seemed like people were getting in Sasha's corner, and then Sasha did what Sasha does, and by the end of this segment, everyone was cheering for Bayley.
And here's the thing, guys. I've got no problem with Bayley. I like Bayley. I mean, I had a little dip with her when it seemed like she was on a decline. I'm like, I'm not really feeling it, whatever. But, she's super over, and I appreciate that. On the mic, though, let me tell you something. I really feel like she needed a Sasha Banks. She said wasn't bad. Didn't do anything wrong. She said, I've been in this spot before. It slipped through my fingers. I'm not going to let that happen again. Bayley, I think, did her job. She said, I'm coming to Brooklyn pretty much. I'm going to win. I'm finally going to have my moment in the sun. Completely harmless promo. See, there's harmless, and then there's really good. And I feel like when Sasha got on the mic, it became really good.
Yeah.
Because she's just saying, think about who you're stepping in the ring with. I'm Sasha Banks. I'm the boss. And then, the first half of her promo was typical Sasha Banks. It was good stuff. It was the second half, which Bayley kind of caused because, Sasha puts her stamp on the contract. She's ready to walk out. And Bayley's like, oh, wait, Sasha. You're seriously going to walk away from me? I've seen plenty of contract signings in my time. I saw the contract signing you had with Becky Lynch. And you're just going to walk away from me? I'm ready to fight you tonight. And then Sasha gets this smirk on her face. Like she's amused. And, dude, she just proceeds to verbally just totally destroy Bayley here.
Dude, and before that even, before Bayley went back to talking, Sasha said that the reason that she told Bayley about how, this is such a big moment for you. Look at what the fans are. They love you so much. And then she said, there's a reason NXT's at Brooklyn and not here.
Yes.
And that got huge heat. But then, she talked about, don't you ever wonder why I'm on Raw and you aren't? It's because you're a loser. Becky and Charlotte were threats. You aren't. And she just goes off, man. This was amazing.
This was one of Sasha Banks' best promos.
I'm going to say the best so far.
You know what? And I'd be hard-pressed to contend that because she, I think they call it in that whole loaning industry pain points. And Sasha found all of Bayley's pain points. I mean, just the confidence issue, the love of the fans. I love how she said, you think you're a role model for these little girls? You've even got a little girl that dresses up like you, which got a huge Izzy chance. So great on Sasha actually getting a fan some recognition like that.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, you keep cheering for her. And, citing her out, which, I mean, you've arrived when you're actually a part of somebody's promo. So good on you.
Yeah.
And yeah, just totally down dresses her. And that's the thing. Bayley is a great personality. She's a great character. But I feel like on the mic, she needs a better heel. Yep. And I think that Sasha is the perfect foil for her because Sasha was able to make me emit more sympathy for Bayley than Bayley's own struggle was through her own words.
And I think that might be why the whole thing with Bayley and Charlotte wasn't as emotionally hooking as this is.
Yeah, because I don't think Charlotte has that bite in her promos even as a heel that Sasha does. Sasha is the most, I think, complete women's wrestler right now in the WWE.
Dude, forget women's. She's one of the top 3 or 4 most complete performers in WWE total, overall, period.
I would agree with that. I just feel like she has just upped her game. I mean, she is a champion in an age, and they were already starting to get the ball there, don't get me wrong, when Charlotte was still kind of on top and everything. But her and Bayley are billed as the double main event. They're part of that with the ladder match at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. I mean, that's huge. That is so freaking huge. And, champions like Sasha Banks make that believable.
Yep.
And then what I love here is Bayley's response because she could just sulk and stew and whatever. But no, you know the promo of Sasha Banks struck a chord because as she's leaving and she's going up the ramp, Bayley pounces on her and she attacks her and she's just saying, "You will not look past me. You know, this is my time." And security had to come in and pull them apart. And Sasha's kind of backing away on the other end while Bayley's like on the stage. And yeah, it's a great image. It was a great final push for their match at TakeOver. And I gotta tell you, man, like, if this is Sasha passing it down to Bayley, and Bayley's gonna be kind of like the head of the division as the champion at Brooklyn, which I have a strong feeling she will be, this was a great final love letter to the NXT fans, was this promo, and I'm sure the match will be as well. Sasha's just on fire right now.
She is. She's exceptional.
Anything else you want to say about this, or do you want to move on?
Well, I mean, just Sasha is even sometimes I think better than we give her credit for, and that speaks volumes because we give her all the credit in the world. But like we always talk about, you know, she's the best female performer, she's this, she's that. There are people out there, and I think that you even have quoted one before, that think that, and I'm honestly, really at this point, I find it myself hard pressed to disagree with it. Sasha Banks is the best overall performer in the WWE right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've told you the quote from AV Club's LaToya Ferguson. I'm curious what she thought about this go-home show. She said that Sasha Banks, she always used to say that Sami Zayn was the best wrestler in the world until she saw Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Because she realized, yes, Sasha Banks is just doing, I mean, if you really want to make the argument that Paige and Emma, you know, laid the groundwork and then Charlotte started, you know, building on it, Sasha's taken all that work and she's taken it to the moon because I just feel like she's been such a phenomenal champion, and her matches, man, have just been so stellar. And, you know, she said at, you know, TakeOver Brooklyn, this is where I become the greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time. And I feel like whether win or lose, she's already achieved that status in my eyes, and we haven't even gotten to Brooklyn yet.
Well, I think it might be a time thing though, because I feel like Charlotte held the title from May to December.
Right.
Wait. Did Sasha win in December, or was her win was in February, wasn't it?
I think her win was in February, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so then Charlotte held the title for like 9 months, and if Sasha wins this match, she'll probably hold the title until November or December, so it'll be like a time thing where maybe she's not necessarily saying the best quote-unquote Divas Women's Champion of all time, but the longest running.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly, yeah.
Oh man, it's crazy because if you really think about it, like this show was bookended by the two best heels arguably in the WWE right now.
Yeah, man, how crazy is that? And what's even crazier to kind of build on what you just said, Sasha really takes the first big pot shot at NXT being in Brooklyn, you know, this takeover, and boy, does Kevin Owens finish it. I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, and speaking of pot shots, when Bayley's talking about how, you know, I want to fight now, Sasha says, you're not worth it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, like you said, pretty much told Bayley, you know, in this whole segment, Charlotte and Becky were threats.
I said
You're
that,
not.
Yeah,
and that's why I
brought
said, like,
that up. And she just tore Bayley a new one.
Yeah, tore her apart, man. And that's what, again, made Bayley's subsequent reaction of just her beating her down, having security pull him off, so much more apropos, because it's like, yeah, she really did strike a chord with Bayley. She hit in a place. You know, and she's just like, well, I've got something to prove now. So it's a great story they're telling here.
Absolutely. They're telling this whole comeback story for Bayley, and I think Sasha Banks really is what kind of pulls the whole thing together, you know?
Yeah, I would completely agree with you there. Absolutely.
Okay, now, up next, we had an Apollo Crews vignette. But before we get to that, let's just kind of really quick touch on the fact that Sasha told Bayley she wasn't worth it, and then she walked out, and then Bayley attacked her, and they had to get separated by security.
Right. Yeah,
but
I mentioned.
But then after that, yeah, Apollo Crews vignette.
Yeah, same one we've been seeing. I just can't wait for him to land at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, because that is actually going to be on the Saturday show, right? That's still slated to happen? That's not next Wednesday?
Wait, say that again?
You said the whole the Apollo Crews thing. I'm asking, that is actually at TakeOver Brooklyn. That's still the plan, right?
Yeah. He's facing Ty Dillinger at Brooklyn, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting matchup. I'm surprised it's not Solomon Crowe, but, you know, I'm just excited to see Apollo Crews, so.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be It's definitely going to be the definition of an exhibition match, and I think that both guys are actually going to get some stuff in. I think we're going to see some perfect 10 poses, and I think we're going to see a lot of flippy shit from a big scary black guy.
Yeah, man, sounds like a good night to me.
You said that like, oh man, that sounds like my last Tuesday.
I know, right?
All right, up next, we had our first match of the night, Tyler Breeze. I have no clue what the name of his opponent was, so if anybody knows that, go ahead and post it in the comments. And if you know it and you're thinking about posting in the comments, check the comments, because if somebody else posted it, maybe just thumb them up rather than 5 or 6 different people saying the same thing.
Yeah, don't be that guy. But, not really.
I'm telling you, man, like we talked about on our Raw review, we talked about Cesaro Owens not being official, and we got a minimum of 3 comments saying, hey guys, that was made official last week.
You know what, though? This just validates all of you. I mean, we read the comments, so start that discussion, guys. Seriously.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, Ashton, there's really not much to say here for this matchup. I mean, Tyler Breeze wins in quick fashion after the supermodel kick. It's his entrance and the post-match that are worth noting, because when he comes out with the selfie stick, there is a Jushin Thunder Liger mask hanging from it. And after the matchup, actually, before the bell even rings, he hangs it on one of the opposite corners.
Yep.
And then he takes it after the match, grabs the guy by the head, puts the mask on, and pretends he's talking to Liger. And, he says, oh, you're not as impressive as I thought you'd be. And, just kind of taking those little pot shots. And then he says, well, let me give everybody a preview of what's going to happen. And then he picks the guy up while still in the mask, and he hits a beauty shot. I really like this. I thought this was clever. This was creative. This wasn't a huge production, but I think that's exactly the appeal of it. It wasn't this. And it's funny, too, because I know we did, like, an NXT request, like a one-time thing, and I said, like, I wanted Tyler Breeze to really address Liger, give him this nice setting. But you know what, though? Like, it just seemed like too big of a production, and I really like that he kind of minimized it here with the mask. Just really well done. And, yeah, Tyler Breeze just continues to just be a great, great asset to NXT.
Yeah, this was solid. I thought it was strange that Breeze won with the supermodel kick.
Yeah, you know what, though? Considering that this guy was pretty much just like a local competitor, somebody in the system,
right?
I think it makes sense. Like the go-to move, like before the beauty shot, would just be enough that you don't have to resort to the really big guns. And honestly, if they want to build up that super kick, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it too much, even though it seems like everybody does a super kick anymore. It'd be pretty cool if they wanted to build that up as more of like a secondary finisher. And yeah, I just really enjoyed the head games that Tyler Breeze tried playing. Should be a good match at Brooklyn.
Tried and succeeded at playing.
Yeah, man.
Because, Jushin Thunder Liger totally watches NXT on a regular basis.
Yeah, he's getting prep, man. I heard he's very very excited for this matchup because he likes coming to America. And, yeah, I just like the whole imagery. The guy downed in the mask, Tyler Breeze standing tall. That's how you get your heat. That's how you build interest. And the thing is, I think Tyler Breeze really will go into this thing as the definitive heel, because even the Full Sail crowd that's been very affectionate towards Breeze, even they were chanting Liger, Liger. You can't deny this guy's legendary status. So I think Breeze should really be able to get a nice amount of heat come Brooklyn. At least I'm hoping.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, he's really good at getting that heel heat when he needs to. It's just one of those things where sometimes he's also really good at cutting these promos that are just super entertaining that make people want to love him.
Right, exactly.
So yeah. It's kind of a back and forth situation with Breeze. I like that they're keeping him relevant, though. I like that they're not just like, okay, well, we don't really have anything for Breeze, so we just won't put him on the show. No, they're keeping him in people's minds by keeping him on the show.
I love that, too. I completely agree with you, because I feel like they're keeping him relevant, and yet you look at Enzo and Cass, and probably because, again, to your point, they're on their way out, which I hope is the case, because if it's not, then it really is a misfire on all counts. But at least Breeze, who has been one of those higher card, kind of like mid to upper mid card prospects, really gets a nice moment here at Brooklyn. I think it's so cool, because, I mean, he's facing, in terms of prestige of the name, a high caliber opponent. So I'm really excited for him.
Absolutely. All right. Now, I think we can move on. Would you agree?
Yes.
I don't know if I want to, though, John.
Got to
The Hype Bros teaming up with Enzo and Big Cass to take on a team of 4. I'm not sure who they all were, but I know one of them was Jesse Sorensen. And this was the part of the night where Corey Graves came up with the whole Mojo Rawley, the result of cousins getting married line, which was brilliant. But yeah, this was, Enzo got the winning pinfall, I believe.
Yeah, and we're cool with Enzo. We love Enzo and Cash, so, that's good at least. Those Hype Bros, though. Yeah. No. So, yeah, they get the win. And it's funny because Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder and Chad Gable and Jason Jordan, they're watching from the backstage area. And I really loved the interplay between these 4 guys, Ashton. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. They worked well together, and I think that a certain someone just kind of pulled it all together, if you know what I'm saying.
I know. I think we're all talking about Chad Gable, right?
Of course.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought you were talking about Dash Wilder. That would have been so embarrassing. But anyway.
No, I did enjoy Dash Wilder's mic work. He's articulate and he's well spoken, but let's be honest with ourselves. Chad Gable's the star of this group.
I know. And he's like, I'm excited. You know why? Because I'm ready, willing. And then they're all starting to make faces like they know what's coming. He's like,
and he didn't do it that fast either. He was, do you want to know why I'm excited, guys? Do you want to know? Do you want me to tell you? And then they were like, okay, fine, what? And he was just like, because we're all ready. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm going for. Come on, guys, join in with me. Willing. Come on, don't leave me hanging here. And then they were all just like, sure, let's just do it. And they all just said, and Gable.
Well, that was the funny part because Dawson and Wilder are kind of looking at each other, and Jason Jordan's like, come on, guys, let's just say it. Like, he just had that look on his face like, I am so done with this. Let's just give him what he wants. Let's just say it. And then they say it, and then they all just kind of pal around and feel good about themselves. It's like Gable. It's like, yeah, let's go win that state championship. It's so great. Oh, God. These guys are going to be wonderful together next Wednesday.
Yeah, they are. They're gonna be great. And honestly, I'm kind of a little tiny bit confused, if for no other reason, because I was kind of under the impression that Jordan and Gable were faces.
That is, can I actually produce the word? A nitpick. Oh, associating Chad Gable with criticism just feels so wrong. But that is a nitpick I have with this team. Their alignment doesn't exactly seem clear. Because Jason Jordan came off as a real heel the way he left Ty Dillinger. And, he seemed like a real jerk to his partners leading up to Gable, even refusing Gable's advances to team up. But then, they're this really exciting team, the crowd's behind them, and they, cut funny promos, especially, Gable, who comes off as more of a face. So I don't know where they are, and I wish we had a clearer direction of their alignment. Because Dawson and Wilder, to their credit, they are heels. They attacked Enzo and Cass, and they laid them out. So that they're the bad guys here. So I guess Gable and Jordan are bad guys by proxy, being so close to Dawson and Wilder. I don't know.
All right, yeah. Oh man, we'll see. I'm interested, regardless of what alignment they are. I just want to watch them wrestle.
Me too, brother.
And I just want to hear Chad Gable talk.
I still want my own Gable towel. I haven't made that happen yet.
I can't believe they aren't trying to sell that on WWE Shop.
I'd buy that because I have no shame. No shame.
Why would there be any shame in buying one of those? They're glorious.
I know, right? I wonder what their drying efficiency is. It's probably very high.
It's probably the highest.
I know.
It's probably higher than Gable's winning percentage was.
Higher than what?
Higher than Gable's winning percentage was in college.
Oh, snap.
Which was obnoxiously high. So, obviously, then the towels are superior.
Oh, you're so right. Look at you talking so much sense about, bathroom products.
There are 3 people that we can agree on, John. Adam Cole, Johnny Mundo, and Chad Gable.
You're so right. They all need to fuse now and create a perfect being.
I don't think the world's ready for that, John.
But we're ready for it.
I know, but we're also a lot more progressive than most people.
Also, what am I talking about? All 3 of them are already perfect individuals on their own.
That is true. That's why I'm saying, if they would fuse, it would be more than perfect, and I don't think the world's even prepared to handle that.
Oh my god, dude, I just realized Chad Gable's our last bullet in the chamber. Adam Cole wouldn't go golfing with us. Johnny Mundo wouldn't go golfing with us. We have yet to ask Chad Gable. Our quest to golf continues.
Oh my god. It's funny because neither one of us even actually golfs.
I did mini golf one time and I did pretty terrible.
I mean, I have mini golfed. I have mini golfed dozens, maybe hundreds of times in my life, but that's not going to help us go actual golfing, considering you need your own set of clubs to do it.
Well, I wouldn't even take Adam Cole mini golfing. I would die. Like, I can't make him think that I'm lower middle class. Oh my god. Do you have anything else you want to say about Chad Gable?
No, let's talk about Samoa Joe versus Steve Cutler, aka the biggest squash match that we've seen since the last Baron Corbin match.
Yeah, the only thing that crashed harder than Cutler's stocks in the market was his chances of winning this match, because it was just Uranagi slam in the corner, Coquina clutch, done. Like, Cutler was just put out. Yeah, so Joe continues to be dominant. His new theme continues to grow on me. I'm digging it. And he goes up the ramp and the stage, and he gets blindsided by Corbin, who pretty much attacks him. He takes the attack to the ring. Joe tries to rally. He goes off the ropes. He gets caught, and Baron Corbin hits the end of days on Samoa Joe, and it's a great image, Ashton.
Yeah, it is. It's great. I mean, Baron Corbin's a beast. We knew that when he hit Bull Dempsey and then Rhino with the end of days. Samoa Joe's a different kind of beast, though.
Yeah, dude. I that's why, I really wanted this match. And I'm so happy we're getting it, because I really liked Baron Corbin's heel promo when he's talking about how much better he is than everybody else. And then you've got this guy, Samoa Joe, stepping up to him and pretty much saying, "You think you're better than me?" And Corbin kind of has to think about it a little bit, and then he's like, yeah. And then, they do get out. It's great. It's very straightforward. It's simplistic. It's basic. But it works because I'm in it. I want to see these two guys kill each other all over New York. And honestly, dude, I feel like regardless of the outcome, which we will save our preview and predictions for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, this is the kind of opponent that a heel Baron Corbin has needed. Because you and I have said forever that we're getting kind of tedious with the squash matches. So I'm glad that Samoa Joe's kind of filling that role, because this is really going to legitimize Baron Corbin, and I think he'll do even bigger things after this. I think Baron Corbin, the remainder of his year, is going to be very interesting indeed. So.
Yeah, absolutely. This match is going to be so hype.
Oh, dude, I'm so ready for it.
I'm getting almost like Pentagon Vampiro vibes from this match.
It's going to be physical. It is going to be physical. I'm so, I was pleading for it pretty much on prior episodes of TWitWoW, and when I saw that it was going to happen, I was just like, yes, I finally get a point on the board.
Right? I know, dude. I'm so happy that you managed to call that.
Dude, I was just feeling like he's talking about these weaklings, and it really says something, though, and this isn't to boost my ego. Well, I guess everything's to boost my ego, but it's really funny that my mind goes to Joe, and they're thinking of Joe too, because that's what I think of when I think badass, at least in NXT. I mean, there are other badasses to be sure, but most immediately...
But it's not like they're going to sit Kevin Owens on a newly heel Baron Corbin.
Exactly. And that's just it. I'm thinking, who would be the perfect fit for Baron Corbin talking all this trash? Samoa Joe. And I'm just glad that I had that mental uplink even this one time with a wrestling company, and it's going to be a great matchup, so I can't wait.
For sure, yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. Up next, though, a bit of interesting storytelling here. Bull Dempsey. Just a really quick, maybe not even 30-second thing here. He just talked about how he was told to get in shape, and that next week, people need to get ready for the new and improved Bull Dempsey.
What are you anticipating, bro?
I don't know. Maybe he'll look kind of similar. Maybe he'll have lost 10, 15, 20 pounds, and he'll just be in better cardio shape.
You know what, Ashton? That's what they should do. Whoever his opponent is, they should try and mimic what Tyler Breeze did that started this whole thing, except Bull passes the test.
Yep.
That's what they should do. Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that would be a great moment to have in this match to really show that he did get, or he's in the process at least of getting Bull fit, and it's showing results. So, yeah, dude, you actually got me excited for it now, because now I am curious. I was thinking, well, maybe he'll change his finisher, maybe he'll change his offensive style a little bit now that he's a bit slimmer. But no, just a moment like that I think is simple enough. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that I mean, Daniel Bryan, even on Tough Talk last night, made a great point about how there have been heavy guys in the wrestling business, and even though WWE would lead you to believe that your look being like you have to be like all muscled up and stuff would be important, as long as you have the endurance and the cardiovascular stamina to go in the ring, it doesn't really matter what you look like.
Yeah. I mean, look at a guy like Bray Wyatt, dude. Even though Bray Wyatt did kind of slim down, he's still like,
he's still well. I mean, this is a horrible word choice, but I can't think of a better word to use. He's still husky.
Yeah, I was gonna say hefty myself, but close enough. And and he pulls it off because he can go to distance. He had a great match with Reigns at Battleground, and he showed he can go bell to bell and have those types of matches. We'll see if Bull can do the same. We'll see if he really did get Bull fit. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. Up next, though, God, these guys are so good. Blake and Murphy versus Angelo Dawkins and Sawyer Fulton. And before we even get into the match itself, can I just say, Fulton and Dawkins looked really, really good in this match.
Yeah, they did, and I really appreciated that too. I'm glad you made note of it before I did, because I'm just thinking that, Fulton and Dawkins, they're really taking it to the tag champs to the point where the crowd actually started a Sawyer chant when he got the hot tag for his team.
Well, I think that's another kind of like a Dana Brooke case where they just know them from all the house shows from being there locally and they want to see him succeed.
Yeah.
Like, if this was anywhere but Full Sail, I don't think he would have gotten that kind of reaction.
I completely agree with you. No contention here. I just thought it was cool because these guys up until this point, and I mean, it's not like they did anything truly magnificent here in terms of the finish, but these guys have really been a jobber team, kind of like swept under the rug kind of thing. And to get this kind of shine to the point where you get that modicum of fan support, I thought was so cool. And it's the perfect time, too, as I was getting ready to say, because we're seeing a turn in the NXT Tag Team division. All of these teams coming out of the woodwork, or teams that already existed in the woodwork, stepping up their game. And Fulton and Dawkins could be, just the next team in line. So we'll see. But yeah, this is a really fun match.
Definitely. Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun. And I feel like it's crazy. Do you know how big these guys are?
I would measure a guess that they're probably both over 6 feet, right? Or are you meaning in terms of like weight? Like how much?
No, well, I mean both, really. I mean, here's the thing. Who do you think is bigger between Dawkins and Fulton?
I would certainly say Fulton, readily.
Fulton, okay, so Angelo Dawkins is 6'5".
Okay.
Sawyer Fulton's 6'8".
Damn.
These guys are huge. And, like, Angelo Dawkins is kind of WWE standard big. Like, he's like Randy Orton, Sheamus, Barrett. Like, he's WWE, like, the standard big guy in WWE. He's that size, right?
Right.
Sawyer Fulton is a notch above that.
Yeah, man.
But, like, you saw Angelo Dawkins throwing out drop kicks like they were nothing.
I know. Yeah, they really got to display their athleticism in this match, which I appreciate.
And Sawyer Fulton's hot tag was a thing of beauty.
But here's the thing, Ash, and I agree with you. That hot tag, which did get the little chant going, was great. Here's what I loved best about this match, though. Because you had them look so good, it made Blake and Murphy look even better. Because here's the thing, dude. Dawkins and Fulton, they were great with the double teams and everything else, and they were good offensively. Where Blake and Murphy really shined was just that tag team acumen, because Murphy was able to get a tag. Or no, it was Blake. Sorry, it was Blake. And he was able to get a tag, and Fulton didn't detect it. He didn't see it. That made all the difference. Fulton and Dawkins were really powering through. They were muscling through the champions. The champions picked their spots, and that's why they are in the spot that they're in. I love the dichotomy because, yeah, Fulton and Dawkins were just trying to out-wrestle the champions. The champions out-thought the opposition. I love it. So good.
Yep.
Just one tag. One tag made all the difference because then, yeah, Murphy
Well,
gets
that's
the
how
delayed...
they won the titles, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's their history. That's how they won the championships. That's how they caught Kalisto and Sin Cara to begin with. And that trend continues here. Because as soon as they got the tag, Fulton got that delayed running vertical suplex. And then Blake gets the frog splash, and they get the win. And I love that. These are guys that aren't going to out-wrestle you, but they're going to outsmart you. They're going to be shrewd, and, that's how they come away. And Alexa Bliss never hurt either. this team is just so freaking good. It really disappoints me how underappreciated they are in some circles.
Yeah, that's crazy too, because they are just so good. And it's funny because there was an article that came out this past week about how if Ric Flair could remake the Four Horsemen using 4 superstars from today, he would pick Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, and The Miz. And I was talking to you about how, The Miz and Cesaro makes sense as the Tully Blanchard and wow, dude.
Barry Windham?
Barry Windham, thank you. I completely blanked on that. I was thinking it's funny because Bray Wyatt's real name is Wyndham Rotunda, and I was trying to think of his real name because I knew that would lead me back to the real name of Barry Windham. But I feel like The Miz would be a good Tully Blanchard, Cesaro would be a good Barry Windham, but then you don't really have an Arn Anderson in the group because then Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler are kind of battling out to be the real true Ric Flair of that group. So to me, you replace Seth Rollins because Seth Rollins is already kind of on a level of his own. He's in the main event. He's kind of above everybody else in that group, so he would be kind of like a misfit. So you replace him, and I said that if you were going to pick anybody on the roster right now that could fill that enforcer role, it would be Murphy.
I completely agree.
Because he is, you even just look at the graphic of him and Blake next to the Vaudevillains, and he just stands out as a big, thick, scary, badass dude.
He does. Like you and I have been saying for the longest time now, long before Blake and Murphy even won the tag team titles, that we're eager to see what Murphy can do in singles. Most times.
And I think what's also great is that they ditched the Buddy name, because Buddy Murphy could be a good baby face, but if you drop that Buddy and it's just Murphy, that sounds like the name that somebody would come up with to cast a movie for a bouncer or a security guard.
Right. Yeah, it's great stuff, dude. I think it hits the ear just right. And then when you have the look that he does to accompany it, it's perfect. You've got a great packaging there. And I'm really eager to see Murphy, do singles if that day ever comes. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the powers that be, they like Murphy with Blake and they want to continue that trend in the main roster. But I think we always talk about who's going to be the breakout in a tag team that could one day break up. And I think Murphy is definitely going to be that breakout. I mean, we'll see. But, hell, not to completely dump on Wesley Blake, he knows how to get a crowd reaction. I mean, they did the Come On Blakey, Let's Go party again tonight. Second straight not second straight week, but just another event where, that whole chant got going. And that's just from his look. That's just playing with his physical appearance. So, great on Wesley Blake as well. But, they win the matchup, and they're celebrating, but then they get interrupted by the Vaudevillains.
And this was glorious.
Yes. First, the crowd chanting, "Oh my gosh," which is a chant that I've just fallen in love with.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I got to tell you, it is pretty great.
And, they say, "Can we just have your attention for just a moment?" And I'm thinking, I was even ready to tell you, "Oh my gosh, Ashton, we're getting ready to hear the plan." And before they can announce the plan, Alexa Bliss gets out of the ring, marches up the ramp, and, both Aiden and Godge are just thinking, "What are you doing? You really shouldn't abuse your female privilege right now."
I loved that, dude. Godge just straight up said, "Madam, if you could please not exploit your female privilege." That's just so classic Vaudevillains. I love it, man.
I love these guys, and I have for a long time. They're just so amped up that they're in this program. And I thought that, she was about to do harm to them, and then their plan was just going to reveal itself.
I thought so too, dude. I was waiting for someone to come out and help them.
But it made it even sweeter that they didn't.
Because now we have to wait until NXT Takeover Brooklyn.
Exactly. Dude, honestly, though, they may be getting so fed up with Alexa Bliss's shit. You joking with me when we were conversing about the plan, about tying her on train tracks, may not be far off. They may be like, "Oh, Alexa, can we talk? What do you want?" Oh, my God. And then, they just tie her on the train tracks, and that's pretty much it. And, I
don't want them to, though, because she's too freaking good right now.
Dude, it's not even a matter of, Ashton, how good were we to call that she would turn heel? Because I thought she'd be just better as a heel than as a face. No, it's not even being better than anything else. She's just a straight-up excellent heel in this role. She's
like up there next to Sasha on the heel plane. Like, she's closing in on Sasha's heel territory.
And I gotta say, like, Alexa Bliss knows how to, one, work the Vaudevillains, but on a grander scale, work the crowd. Because when the Vaudevillains got robbed of the tag team titles, and they were like stewing. They took out Blake and Murphy, whirling dervish, and then they're posing with the titles, and Alexa Bliss goes to interrupt. They look like they're going to do something, but it's the crowd that says, chivalry, chivalry, and they oblige, they abide by it. And Alexa Bliss, she's taking full advantage of their chivalry, conflating it for weakness, and that's what makes her such a great heel, because the crowd wants them to be chivalrous. They are chivalrous by nature, but Alexa Bliss doesn't give a damn. She'll slap the taste out of their mouths every chance she gets, and she's really come into her own as a heel character. I love it, dude. Absolutely love it.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, man. This match, just for my personal fandom for the Vaudevillains, my love of the tag division in general, like, I'm really looking forward to this tag team title match this Saturday. I'm really amped up for it. So
yeah, I'm super hyped for it too. It's gonna be, I don't know if I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it's gonna be a match of the year contender or anything like that, but I definitely think it'll be incredibly enjoyable, to say the least.
Well, what came next after this, Ashton?
After this, we had sort of an interesting announcement. Next Wednesday, not at NXT Takeover Brooklyn, no, but next Wednesday, they announced 3 different matches that we thought were going to be happening at Takeover Brooklyn, thanks to Triple H putting out a pretty vague tweet about with the poster to NXT Takeover Brooklyn. Carmella versus Eva Marie, the 8-man tag with Enzo, Cass, and the Hype Broz taking on Dash, Dawson, Gable, and Jordan. And then the Fatal 4-Way Women's match between Charlotte, Becky, Dana, and Emma.
Yeah. So next
From what I understand, John, next Wednesday's episode of NXT is actually going to be a 1.5-hour special.
Oh, okay.
They're taping it on Saturday, so it's not going to be live, but it is going to be a 90-minute special.
Interesting. Well, I am glad that we are going to see these matches, because I was intrigued by some of them, particularly that Fatal 4-Way, the women's Fatal 4-Way. So yeah, next Wednesday should be insane. I mean, that's a stacked card in itself. Good God.
It is. Yeah, no doubt. And I'm sure there's going to be more than just that too.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
All right. So now we get to the main event segment. Kevin Owens addresses the crowd. I just want you to take it, brother. I just want you to take this.
You know what? I make no apologies. Normally I apologize beforehand when I feel like I'm about to commit hyperbole. I make no apologies here. This promo from Kevin Owens, I feel like, has been the defining moment of his WWE career thus far. Because I feel like this promo, I'm going to be thinking about it, a while from now and thinking, damn, did he light the crowd up that night. This was fucking mastery of the microphone. I apologize for swearing, but I was so into this episode of NXT, and this was the perfect punctuation for it, because he goes to start, talking about the match. He says, when I face Finn Balor this Saturday NXT Takeover in Brooklyn, and the crowd just boos. They pounce on it again, and they actually start a Brooklyn sucks. Brooklyn sucks. And then Kevin Owens actually says, before I continue, I want to address that. He gets a chuckle from the crowd. Oh, it's all funny. Not really, because Kevin Owens proceeds to eviscerate Full Sail. He says, I find it funny that you guys, whenever I come out here, you always chant Kevin Owens or Fight Owens Fight, unless it's against, a Sami Zayn, a Hideo Itami, or hell, I mean, you know what it's like with John Cena, and they loudly boo John Cena, but Kevin Owens can, and you know what's funny about that? You guys are just, you are the John Cena of wrestling fans, and why? Because you all act like you want Full Sail to succeed. You all act like you give a damn about us and you want us to prosper. And yet when we sell out 13,000 tickets for Brooklyn, you boo because, I'm not going to get to see it live and it's not ours anymore. And he said, you're hypocrites. And he just torched them to the ground. He called them out in the most brutal possible way. And he said, Brooklyn is the crowd that's worthy to see me, and they're going to be worthy to see me scale this ladder and reclaim what's always been mine, the NXT Championship. And I love this next line from Owens, because it's like he knows. He knows the history of ladder matches and how they work. He says, and don't think that it's going to be a struggle, that it's going to be some epic clash in the final minutes. Finn Balor on one side, me on the other, duking it out to see who's going to get this championship. It's going to be me up here, and Finn's going to be on the floor, tended to by a trainer, while I'm holding what's always been mine, the NXT title. Dude, this freaking promo. I must have missed a few good points that he made, because I'm just so into it. I mean, did you take any notes about this? Did you want to say anything about this promo?
I have quite some notes, yeah. I have the first line of my notes is already covering what you've already said. First two lines, actually. I love that he said that Finn Balor was NXT or Full Sail's little flavor of the month, and that he was going to beat him in front of a crowd that deserves to see it. I thought that was a great little touch.
Yeah.
He also said that he doesn't just want the NXT title anymore. He needs it. He needs it to shove it in the fans' faces and to prove that he's better than Balor.
Yes.
I
Dude.
love it. And I love the imagery of him being at the top of the ladder and talking about how it won't be some epic battle for supremacy at the top of the ladder. No, Balor's going to be on the ground broken, getting ready to get stretchered out. Like, oh my God, this dude is a god.
You and I have said consistently for the past few months, since his arrival, oh, Kevin Owens is amazing. Kevin Owens is the best thing going today. I can't drive home enough how freaking great this man is. And again, I'm going to say it, for my money, hyperbole or not, this is the best promo he's cut to date.
Oh, in WWE for sure. There's no doubt about that one. And I think it's just because they let him.
Yeah.
This felt like WWE officials being like, oh my God, this crowd's pissing us off so much. Hey, Kevin, why don't you go out there and tell them off?
Yeah, they sicked Kevin Owens on this crowd.
Yeah.
And honestly, even if I was on the receiving end of it, I would still say thank you for that. Because what you gave us was brilliance on the microphone. Dude, I just got done saying on Raw TWitWoW that I felt like, for John Cena personally, he cut one of his personal best promos for the year.
It must be the week, man. It must just be something going on this week. Everyone's stepping up with their promos because Sasha and now Kevin Owens, and then on Monday we had Cena. Like, what's going on right now?
For Kevin Owens, I would call this not just his best promo in WWE, for the year, but I would call this one of the best WWE promos of the year, period.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. I mean, you know what? I might even have to put that on my list of contenders for promo of the year for our TWitWoW End Year Awards.
And considering that Paul Heyman is a thing,
yeah,
that should say a lot about how much I thought of Kevin Owens' mic work here. Like,
it's funny because with Paul Heyman, the reason that he wins promo of the year is because of quantity. Just because every single one of his promos is amazing, but they all start to blend together because of that.
Right.
Kevin Owens, most of his promos blend together, but then he does something like this.
This was a gem, people. This was a gem, because you're absolutely right about Paul Heyman, Ashton. Like, I enjoy his work. I bow down at his altar when he works the microphone, but it does start to dull a little bit, to your point, when they do start to run together. And don't even get me started on Bray Wyatt. This was a shock to the system. And it was so welcomed. I could not wait for this NXT review specifically for this segment, just so I could just praise be Kevin Owens pretty much, because he killed it tonight. This is what a heel does. This is what a heel does. Any up-and-coming heels that are like, oh, how do I get my heat? How do I really, milk the program or work well off the babyface I'm working with? Watch this promo, because that's the thing. The promo is great, and then I love Finn Balor's retort, dude, and I'll give that one to you, because then the lights go out and Finn comes out. And what did you think about what he did here?
Oh, dude, it's funny because I actually have in my notes here, after the Owens line about Balor getting stretchered out, the lights go out, Balor's music hits, and when the lights come back on, he was just sitting on the turnbuckle, and I'll tell you what, man, it's so funny that we just watched Tough Enough last night, because they had Tanner doing this top rope crossbody, and he couldn't figure out how to get his facial expression right before he uses the move so that it comes off well to the crowd. And they kept on trying to figure it out, and they were like, make an angry face, and he would look the exact same. And then they were like, okay, fine, you know what? Just freaking scream at the top of your lungs and then do it. And he started doing that, and that was kind of his thing at that point. Well, guess what? Tanner, I know you got eliminated from Tough Enough, but if you still want to be in the wrestling business, you need to watch what Finn Balor did here, because his facial expression to me was probably the best facial expression I've seen from anybody in any program, regardless of company, all year.
Yeah. I mean, just
I have
insane.
never seen anybody look more pissed off than Finn Balor did on the turnbuckle there.
I wouldn't want to screw with him.
And
I'd be like,
what's really amazing, too, is that it wasn't just that he was pissed off. There was something almost heelish about the facial expression. Like, it's so stupid when I actually say it out loud, but it makes sense in my mind. Like, he has this facial expression like he's super angry at Kevin Owens, but he also, in that same exact facial expression, it looked almost like he was sort of seething, just kind of like inwardly, just like in general, like he hated himself too.
yeah. Yeah.
Did you pick up on that, or is it just me?
I didn't really pick up on that so much, but I mean, we've been talking about Balor potentially turning heel for a while now,
and that's the thing too. Like, he jumps in the ring. Like, Kevin Owens does an amazing job here because he just slowly, one rung at a time, gets down off the ladder. I was immediately like, as soon as I saw Finn, I was like, okay, he's gonna drop kick the ladder and it's gonna knock Kevin Owens off of it. But no, Owens slowly, one ring at a time, just kind of gets down off the ladder and backs up a little bit, and they make eye contact, and then boom, they collide, and Balor showed so much aggression here. He was straight up just punching Owens in the head. And that's something you don't really see because Kevin Owens is billed as a brawler. So when you get into a punching match with him, he's probably going to win every time. Not this time. Not this time at all. Balor got the upper hand here until he backed Owens into a corner, and Owens gave him like a cheap shot punch right to the freaking middle of right between the eyes, basically. And that only staggered Balor enough for him to turn around and do a freaking Pele kick, which basically knocked Owens all the way out of the ring. Like, the fire and the anger and the aggression that Balor was showing here is something that we have not seen from him before. And it's not just like, oh, we haven't seen this from him before, he's growing as a performer. No, we haven't seen this from him before because we haven't been supposed to have seen this from him before. This is character progression. I don't want people to overlook it.
Yeah. I mean, he beat that ass, man. And then he scales the top of the ladder, and he pretty much promises, like, I'm going to kick your ass, and I'm going to shut you up. And the image of just Kevin Owens looking up at Finn Balor on the top of that ladder as he poses with the NXT Championship, you got your main event.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got
your main event. How about you've got my money?
Exactly. These guys, two of the best going in NXT. Kevin Owens laying the groundwork. I cannot get over how good that promo was. That promo was so good.
And here's the thing, just to kind of put what I'm about to say into perspective, ROH is going to be in Philly on Friday. Shinsuke Nakamura is going to be there, okay? And yeah. I didn't buy tickets because Philly is just a little bit too far out of the way for me. It's like an hour and a half to 2 hour drive for me. And it's just one of those things where it's not going to be like a pay-per-view, so I know nothing major is going to happen. And I just, just kind of weighing all the pros and cons, I decided against it. The Bullet Club is coming to Harrisburg in the next week or two. And I didn't buy tickets to that because that's in Harrisburg, and that's another hour and a half, maybe, hour and a half away. I live right near Hershey. And if NXT would ever come to Hershey or Harrisburg or Philly for a live special, you bet your ass I would be one of the first people on that website trying to get a ticket.
Oh, absolutely. How could you not? I mean, with guys like this. And here's the thing, guys, just to really get over one final time how much I loved Kevin Owens' mic work, I don't go back and re-listen to promos often. I go back and rewatch matches. Promos are a different matter. I want to go back and rewatch that promo because he just ruined everybody. And then just the whole final segment with Finn Balor's fire and his defiance in wanting to beat Kevin Owens in his backyard of Brooklyn. It just resonates so strongly. It's funny because these guys have only been working with each other, I mean, not too long, and they don't have the whole friendship kind of story going for them that Owens and Zayn do, but I feel that genuine hatred there over wanting to be the NXT champion, wanting to be the best. And I think their ladder match is just gonna just defy all expectations. I cannot wait for NXT Takeover Brawl. Like I told you guys on the Raw TWitWoW, I am anticipating this so much more than SummerSlam, and I
Yeah.
still am.
Oh,
Because
dude,
I feel,
yeah.
This
I mean,
was-
we're gonna do our well, and you know what? Before I even say what I was about to say, before I take an even bigger dump on SummerSlam, we said that the SummerSlam Go Home show was kind of middle of the road, right?
right.
To me, NXT just schooled the main roster on how to do a Go Home show because this show hyped up every single match. It got me more hype for Sasha versus Bayley. It got me more hype for the tag championship match. It got me more hype for the main event. They fit an Apollo Crews vignette in there, and they had Tyler Breeze on this show. So literally, there are going to be 5 matches on this show that have been announced, and we got Joe and Corbin brawling it out too. So those are the 6 matches that are going to be on NXT Takeover Brooklyn. All 6 of them got highlighted in one way or another on this show.
I've never seen a level of self-awareness that you are a go-home show
Yeah.
than I did tonight.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Like, this feels like, okay, this is it. All the chips are on the table. This needs to happen now. Like, these are combustible elements, and they're going to explode if something doesn't happen right now. And now, in literally 3 days, it's going to happen.
Yeah. And you know what? I love that. I wish there was more of that, as I said, self-awareness.
I mean,
on go-home shows.
I guess that because, like, we're talking about this is the final show that NXT has been able to put out before their big show. Maybe SmackDown will do a better job of hyping SummerSlam, but it is still SmackDown, so I highly doubt it.
Exactly. Yes, SmackDown to me doesn't even compare. And not only the self-awareness, I might add, that they're a go-home show, but that the big show is in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And they want to make that huge push. And man, did they ever.
And you know what's really great, too, is that NXT, and here's the thing, like, you could make the argument, oh, well, I mean, of course NXT puts all this extra effort into it. They know this is the biggest show that they've ever had because this is the first ever live special, not at Full Sail, and they have a 13,000 person crowd. WWE's hyping up SummerSlam as bigger than WrestleMania. They're literally saying that the match that's happening at SummerSlam was too big for WrestleMania, and therefore they're saying SummerSlam is bigger than WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's bigger. I don't know how NXT having a 13,000 person crowd is bigger than WWE saying that this show's bigger than WrestleMania.
Exactly. And every single person involved in the major storylines, the major matches of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, for the effort they put in tonight.
Yeah.
If they were to do curtain calls, they would deserve to take their bow and
Right, and dude, that's my thing too. This was a 1-hour show hyping up for a 2-hour live special. The WWE just had a 3-hour show to hype up a 4-hour pay-per-view that they're dubbing as bigger than WrestleMania, and their best idea to hype up Cesaro versus Kevin Owens is to stick them in a tag team match with Randy Orton and Sheamus.
Yeah, and that's just it. I don't want to say that I'm completely apathetic to SummerSlam because I think that's far too caustic, but if you compared my level of interest in SummerSlam to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, yeah, you might notice a semblance of apathy there for the former. Because,
we're getting this huge John Cena versus Seth Rollins match at SummerSlam. Has either one of them wrestled in the last week?
Well, I feel like in the last week, no, not the last week. I don't think so.
Okay.
Brock
Lesnar and Undertaker have their match. Have either of them actually wrestled anybody in the last, I'm going to say, month?
No.
Okay. So, and we don't have a women's championship match or a Divas championship match because they can't let Nikki defend the title until Night of Champions. So I'm just knocking dominoes down at this point, matches that WWE hasn't hyped up enough. And then the really pathetic thing is they've gone so far out of their way to hype Taker Lesnar, and yet all it is talking. It's nothing but talking and replays of the one time that they actually did fight each other in that brawl a month ago.
Because they're so reliant on the name value of both competitors to sell this.
Yeah.
NXT doesn't rest on its laurels.
Samoa Joe is probably the biggest name in NXT, and he had a freaking match tonight. It was a squash match, but I wouldn't expect anything less than that, or anything more than that even, from The Undertaker or Brock Lesnar being in a match on Raw.
And dude, the thing is, Kevin Owens, he's even said, Brooklyn is his backyard. That's what you said. That's what you said to me, and right. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Brooklyn's his house.
Yeah.
And yet, Yeah, he did talk tonight, but he said far more than I feel like Heyman, Lesnar, or Taker have in their program.
Well, and that's the other thing, too. It seems like for that feud, they've been relying on nothing but replays and Paul Heyman to get that feud over.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no arguments here. I can't contend that. Like, I just feel like every match on NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, I'm looking more forward to than, most of the matches at SummerSlam.
Let me put it this way, John. I'm looking more forward to the match on NXT TakeOver Brooklyn that I'm looking the least amount forward to. I'm still looking more forward to that match than the match that I'm looking the most forward to at SummerSlam.
I couldn't have said it any better.
I am more excited to see Baron Corbin versus Samoa Joe, which is probably the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn match that I'm least excited for, but I'm still more excited to see that than Owens Cesaro, which will probably end up getting friggin' bumped to the pre-show.
Yeah, really. I couldn't have said it any better. I have nothing else to say about this segment if you don't, and we can move on.
And let's move on then. You know what's next, right?
High spots and low shots.
That's right.
Oh, man. This is going to be difficult. You know what? I'm going to say that my low shot... Who do I want to say?
Full Sail crowd.
You know what? That'll be my honorary low shot because you guys got torched tonight.
That's going to be both of our honorary low shots because I thought of it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it would have to be. I don't know who my low shot is. You know what? I'll say that my
go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
My low shot's Bayley.
Yeah.
Because you talk about the NXT Full Sail crowd getting dumped on, no one got dumped on more tonight than Bayley.
Sasha Banks brutalized her.
Sasha isn't even taking her seriously. She doesn't even see her as a threat, and she told her that to her face.
I know, dude. Oh my god. You know what? I hate to do this, but I gotta say the Vaudevillains are my low shot.
Oh, why?
They wanted to make their announcement, and Alexa Bliss upstaged them again. Now, they stayed composed because they know they have a plan. But, yeah, I mean, how many more times are they going to get the taste left out of their mouths? I'd say that was the final time, given that we're in the final stretch this Saturday. But still, a rough night. They wanted things to go one way. They wanted to kind of play the head games. Alexa Bliss shut that down, but they're still keeping the cards close to their chest. So, Vaudevillains are my low shot.
Okay, well, you know my low shot. My low shot's Bayley. So, who's your high spot, John?
My high spot, this one's easy, Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
The defining moment of his WWE career for me happened tonight with that promo because, good God, was that magnificent. This guy could carry a company on his back. I feel like he already has in certain points.
ROH, yeah, he basically did carry ROH on his back.
Yeah, he's just that good. And I love success stories like that because, he does all this heel talk about his family and this and that, but, it is real. He does have a family. He has a son that watches him every week. And just to see your dad kick that much ass has got to be the best feeling. I love what Kevin Owens is doing right now. It's promos like that that make me feel like he can stand toe-to-toe with Paul Heyman if he does ever feud with Brock Lesnar. I'm so freaking ready for everything Kevin Owens. He's my high spot without question.
And you know what's great, too, is I feel like we're taking an extra step to hype up the main event of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn because my high spot is Finn Balor.
Yeah, buddy.
Because, first of all, he shows up and he has just the spotlight on him and that eerie entrance. Like, where did he come from? He didn't come down the ramp or anything like that. He just showed up. The facial expression that freaking everyone, it was like the facial expression seen around the world. It was freaking incredible. And then to top it all off, he out-brawls Kevin Owens, hits him with a Pele kick, is the last man standing, and then it cuts a fiery promo of his own to send this all home happy.
Excellent. That's how you build. You do a final stretch towards a main event. These guys killed it. I'm glad we celebrated them both respectively. Kevin Owens, my high spot. Finn Balor, yours. Dude, is there anything else you want to say about this episode of NXT before I take us home?
More of this, please, NXT.
Yes. Good God, was this magnificent tonight. But guys, with that said, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. What did you think of Kevin Owens' promo? What did you think of Finn Balor's retort? What match are you most looking forward to for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn? Be sure to take the conversation over to TWitWoW, an amazing pro wrestling group on Facebook. Got a lot of rabid NXT fans there. You'll be right at home, but I get it. If you don't want to join in the festivities, if you're just thinking, John, man, you're cramping my style, all this pressure, Ashton has created a TWitWoW subreddit for all of our loyal fans here. There you will find all of our TWitWoW content posted, and you can start threads of your own discussing all things professional wrestling. And we will see you again for our NXT TakeOver Brooklyn preview and predictions coming to you this Friday. And until then, guys, tune in and peace out.